Nope, not that one. All right. Give everybody a few minutes. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing, what we're going to cover today is we're going to connect Lonewolf. If you haven't already connected it, we're going to make sure you've got access to GAR forms, and then we're going to walk through creating a simple contract and pulling that back into command, and then um, if there's time after that, we'll go through any of your questions you have. After this, I have the class that goes over how to download documents from DocuSign. So if you have questions about that, hold that for the thing at noon. All right. So first thing you need to do is log into Command. Make sure you're going in through agent.kw.com. If you just Google KW Command, sometimes you get a QA site and your password won't work. So just make sure you go to agent.kw.com. All right, once we're in command, we're going to go ahead and in the top right, you're going to click on your name and then you're going to click settings. Once the setting page loads, because I've already connected it, or if you have already connected it, Lonewolf will appear at the bottom of the page, or sorry, the top of the page, and you won't have to do anything. You can just listen to this part. If you don't see Lonewolf at the top, scroll down to the digital signature and transaction section and click the big teal connect account button. Um, if you're on some random page that is not the applications page, on the left-hand side, click Command Settings and then Applications. And then you'll scroll down, find Lonewolf, and click the Connect Account button. You should get a pop-up window that looks like this. If you don't get the pop-up window, 90% of the time there's a pop-up blocker. If you're in Chrome, there should be a little icon in the URL bar. If you're in Safari, I would highly advise just close Safari and try to do this in Chrome because you have to click like 47 times to allow pop-ups in Safari. So once you get the pop-up window, you're going to click the little sign up link at the bottom. You'll put in your email address. If you can't decide which email address, use your KW. You can change it later. It's no big deal. And then it'll ask you for a few additional pieces of information, password, some stuff. And then it will send you a code to the email you chose. So make sure you have access to that. Once you've entered the code, it's going to take you to a dashboard setup page. You can just close that window for the purpose of this. Is anybody working on setting up their account? Or are we all set up?
I am. I just got logged into command, so you lost me. The beginning.
In the top right, click on your name, then click settings,
Okay.
then scroll down and find Lonewolf and click the connect account button.
Okay.
And then once you click that button, there should be a pop-up window, and then you'll follow the prompts from there. Anybody else still working? Okay. All right. And Yasmin, once you get to that dashboard setup, just close that window. Once once your account is set up, we'll go back into command and then we'll create a test opportunity. I would highly advise creating a separate test opportunity. Don't try to test this with a real client. Just trust me, you want to set up a test opportunity. And if you haven't created yourself as a contact, you can go ahead and do that. And then use yourself as the person that receives the emails, just so you'll see what they see. And, if you accidentally send something that looks weird, the client doesn't get freaked out.
Yeah.
All right. So first thing we're going to do is click on the opportunity. I'm assuming everybody knows how to create an opportunity, but I'm still going to run through it. Click on the little handshake. That's your opportunity applet. Up in the top right, you're going to click create opportunity. For testing purposes, please use a buyer. It's simpler. You don't have to worry about KWLS or any of that stuff. When you name this, so I'm going to use myself that I have in here. Oh. And then name it something that at least has the word test in it. That way compliance doesn't send it back to you and mark it up, wondering what you were doing. Thanks, I take this moment to tell everybody if an opportunity is in the cultivate phase, the market center cannot see it, which is perfect for testing. But if you ever argue with Mikhail over having created an opportunity, he can't see it. It's usually because it's in cultivate phase. So if you want the office to see it, you need to change that to either appointment or active. And then, oh, the faces are covering. All this down here, we don't really need for testing purposes, but you could fill it out if you wanted to. I'm going to click create. And then the first thing I'm going to do once the opportunity has been created is add the property address. Because again, if you don't put the property address in here, we can't find it if we look for that address. So I'm up to 1, 2, I think 50 Pink Street. And you can use fake street, you can use the building address. Just make sure it's very apparent that this is not a real contract because you don't want compliance reaching out to you about it. To save that. Okay. Now that we've got our basic setup done, I'm going to go to the documents section. And if you notice, because we're past the 13th, there's no longer it used to say sync with eSign provider. And if you have a .loop connection in your command account, it might still say sync with eSign provider. If you do, you'll click that and then click Lonewolf transact. But if you only have one provider, you'll see the sync with transact button. The first thing you'll have to do, though, however, is pick a checklist type. So you want to do either residential, commercial, referral, whichever one applies. Most of this is going to be residential. So I'm going to choose that one. And then I'm going to click this sync with transact button. And that will throw you into Lonewolf transact. Don't worry about this view. This is because we were trying to do a workaround whenever GAR forms wasn't working, and now mine is permanently changed. Okay, so this is what Lonewolf transact, you should see that. If you chose a buyer by default, it'll bring in this affiliated marketing disclosure, wire fraud, and exclusive buyer brokerage agreement. There is one more document we need to pull in because when we sent the paperwork to Lonewolf, they split our affiliate marketing disclosure into 2 documents. So you need to pull in this other document that's titled KW Affiliated Business Arrangement Steel Title Agency. So you're going to click add. And then we're going to use that document to go ahead and set up GAR forms access for anybody who does not have it.
Where did you get that from?
You click add paperwork in the top right.
There's not, when I click on that,
Sorry.
there's nothing there.
So more than likely yours either looks like this or says all libraries.
Ah, yes.
And then, so what you want to do is it defaults to the last library. Since I was training on this, that was the one. You'll click on where it says all libraries, and you can click anywhere on that box. You don't have to go all the way to the little drop down. And you're going to scroll down until you find Keller Williams MC156.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
our office. And then you should see the 3 documents that we have in there. And then you'll click add on it, and then you have to close the window that popped up, the little pop-up box. Let's see. Where's my chat? Nothing. Okay. All right. Get out of the way. And then, so we're going to open that document by clicking on it and make sure you're in the main paperwork section. You're not still in that pop-up box. If it pops up just a preview, you'll know you're in the wrong place. But if you have this, well, if you're in a staff account, you're getting an angry red message. If you get an angry red message like this, contact me or Ella because we need to do some stuff on our end. All right, I'm going to switch accounts real quick so that I can actually do this. Get back there. Let's refresh. Okay, now if you click on the document, you should see something like this, where it's got an add paperwork button on the left-hand side, and then you see a document with fillable fields in it. So in order to set up GAR forms, and this is if you've already set up GAR forms, you can just ignore all of this. We'll get back to the main thing in a minute. If you still need GAR forms, on the left-hand side, click Add Paperwork. It only works in this section. This is a workaround. So, like, yeah, if you want GAR forms, you need to do it now. Add paperwork. Once the box pops up, click Unlock More Libraries down at the bottom of that pop-up. And then you're going
Wait,
to
click, what was it?
unlock more libraries.
Okay. Okay, I see it. I see it.
And then at the bottom of the next pop-up box, click GAR. Once that's popped up, you're going to choose NRDS ID, and then you'll put in your NERDS number. If you don't have it, shout out and I'll look it up.
I don't have it.
Okay. Correct. Yeah, you don't have to do this again. Uh, let's see. Let's see if we have yours, Yasmin.
Michael, I also do not have my nerd's number.
Okay. Yasmin. Let's see.
Neither do I.
Okay, Robin. All right. I'm gonna put these in the chat.
I don't have mine either. This is Kendra Hansen.
Okay.
Hanson. Thank
All right. Yasmin. Three. And then we're gonna go to what's next. Nope. Look how that Robin. Kendra, I don't have yours, so we're gonna go look it up.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, you beat me, Mikhail. All right. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Multiple place. Okay. Once you put in your NRDS number, you'll click the submit button. As long as you don't see, I think it says either inactive member, inactive number, some red error message will pop up directly under that. If it just kind of closes the window, you're fine. So we're going to close that window. And it's okay if you don't see it in this window that pops up. I've seen that happen sometimes. So what we're going to do is we're going to close that window as well. And we're going to click this back word up in the top left of the screen. If it asks you to save or don't save, for now you can click don't save. And then we want to get back to this main paperwork section. And I'll give everybody a minute to do that. And then once you're back in the main paperwork section, I'll go into the next step. So the main difference, one of the biggest differences between DocuSign and Lonewolf is the way it separates the workflow. So all of your data entry, filling out forms, adding forms, that kind of stuff, you want to do through the paperwork side. The signing side is just for signing the documents, signatures, initials, that kind of thing. So back in the DocuSign days, what I used to do is grab all the forms, pull them into the room, and then I would create the envelope and start filling in things in the envelope, which was fine. It was easy. However, the problem is if you do something wrong in the envelope, you have to redo all of that work. So Lone Wolf takes the position that you need to fill it out on the paperwork side, and then only signatures are in the signing piece. And I say that so that if that's the way you worked in DocuSign, if you try to open a signing first you're going to think this whole thing doesn't work, and I'm trying to avoid that. So the way we're going to fill out documents is in the paperwork side. And the first thing we're going to do is, let's say we're meeting with a buyer and we're sending over the buyer brokerage agreement, our affiliate marketing, we're going to do all this. And let's go ahead and add the pamphlets to all those things that we're supposed to send them before we go out looking. So I searched for the word pamphlet. I pulled up, sorry, let me walk you through it. Click add paperwork in the top right. Once that pops up, you're going to want to, more than likely your library says all libraries or that KW156 library. You're going to click on that and then scroll down a little bit and you should see Georgia Association of Realtors. We're going to click on that. And then I search for the word pamphlet. I love saying that word. I hate it. And then I'm going to add all of these.
Hey, Michael, I hate to interrupt, but is everybody able to log in after they type in their NARDs? Mine is timing out and then it says there's an internal error.
Try refreshing the page.
Okay.
Um, if that doesn't work, go
Okay,
ahead
it
and
worked.
oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Michael.
Mhm. Okay. So we've got our pamphlets, and you can drag documents around the room to organize them by clicking on these little dots to the left of the checkbox. If you click on the name, it opens that editor window, so you don't want to do that. You got to click and drag on these little, whatever the handle of the dot thing is. So I'm going to put all my pamphlets at the bottom. And you can drag these, you can create folders, you can get as organized as you want to.
Is the order that these are in here, is that the order that they're in when the client sees it?
No. So it depends. The signing is completely different. So you can reorder it before, but it does matter if let's say we check all these and then go into either the editor or in a signing, if you email them, when you download or print. So if I print these, they will appear in the vertical order that these are in. You can see there, the editor window is supposed to work that way, but for some reason it's like moving them around sometimes. Um, this is just like some people really want to see them in a specific order, and you absolutely can, but it doesn't really correspond to everything. Um, as you see, when I pull these into the editor window, they may appear in a jumbled up order. So I'm going to select all of them,
Hey,
but you
Michael.
could just select one or two. And this black pop-up toolbar at the bottom, we're going to click the editor button.
Hey, Michael, real quick, after I typed in my NARDs and everything went through, what was I supposed to add?
I added the pamphlets, but if you have buyer brokerage, you don't really need to. It was just showing adding paperwork.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So, because you see, like this affiliated business disclosure, I don't believe was at the bottom of the page. I don't know why they get jumbled up, but they kind of do. And maybe I just forgot to move it. So this is our editor window. This is where we will fill in all of the information. It works a lot like DocuSign. There are differences, but we'll go over a few of them. So let's say we're starting it today. We're going to run it for, let's say, a few months. You can pre-fill some of this. That's the advanced class that we do where I go over templates. It'll make your life a lot easier. Um, and it keeps you from forgetting to check, say, the dual agency or sub-agency boxes. Let's say I'm a fantastic agent. I'm going to take 7%. Um, so you can fill these out. Works mainly. One thing I will tell you is some of these boxes will not accept the number 0. So if you try to put a 0 in there, or you try to put NA or somewhere to fill a blank, it won't work. But I'll show you a workaround for how to actually fill in those blank boxes. All right, so I do have mold pamphlet, lead-based pamphlet. I don't think I have ABCs of agency, but let's pretend and I check all this. When you get to these multi line boxes, Lonewolf has a nice feature. It's a clause manager. So our office went ahead and added all of the GAR special steps. But if you have a favorite special step, if your personal closing attorney has a step, you can create one. And this is, let's do test clause. I don't want that for the office. And then this is a test clause. And then we can save that and you can add your clause by clicking add clause, and that will put it in that text box. You can add multiple clauses. So let's go back to our office clauses and let's sell some farm equipment and hunting rights. I'm trying to find some long ones. And they will all just pop down into this. And as you can see, it will actually let you go past the edge of the box. Now, what Lone Wolf helpfully tries to do is it will automatically, when you go to a signing, add an additional page. However, it's not the GAR form. It is not referenced, and the signature fields aren't mapped either. So the better way to do this is make sure that your steps fit in the box, and anything additional you remove from down here, and you get that additional F246 and paste it onto that. And to do that, you can just copy all that. Just erase all this. Oops. And then we're gonna add paperwork. We're gonna do F246. Edit. Just a little bit smaller. And see, I can pull that up to right under my buyer brokerage. And I can paste it. And that is the correct way to handle that. It looks like it's helpful, but if you don't check this box, if you don't, then you can have a bunch of special steps that aren't actually a part of the contract. And nobody wants that. It will try to fill in some of this information down here from your profile and some of the stuff that comes across from command. It's not complete. However, you can fix that by setting up one of those template and form groups. And that, again, once you get that set up, it'll make your life a lot easier. It's actually one of the best features of Lonewolf. Okay. What else do we have? Listing info, clauses, tools. You can mark up things here. With the markup section, you can choose lines and you could say draw through. I prefer to mark it up on the e-sign on the signature side, because you can't, if you mark it up in the paperwork side, you can't change it. Oh, it doesn't want to let me draw two lines. But that's fine. You can also squiggle. Why you would want to do this, I don't know, but you can. And you can strike through, which just does a horizontal line. You don't have to worry about drawing it exactly straight. And again, you in the signature side, you would put the initials. That's why I like to do it on that side because you can change it. So as you notice, when I prepare signing on this, I will not be able to remove these. So if I accidentally scratched out the wrong or marked through the wrong section, I can't undo that on the signature side. So I always do all the markup on the signature side and pre-fill the forms on the in the paperwork side. Okay, 11:30. So let's say we've got everything filled in and we're ready to send this to our client. You can, if you have all the documents you want to send, click this prepare signing button up in the top right. If, however, you just edited one document at a time, or you just edited one last document and you need more documents, you can go back. When you go back, make sure you click save changes, because if you don't, you just did a bunch of work that does not exist anymore. So we're going to let our page load. And then we're going to kind of do the same thing we did with the editor window. And I'm going to put this behind that, is check all our boxes. And there's a nice little check all. If you're not on a tiny screen, there's a box at the top that will automatically check everything. And you can come down to the toolbar that popped up, and click sign. It's going to ask you for a signing name. These dates are not, it's not the current date. That's the date of the form. So at the very least, I would change that to V1, but you can name it whatever you want to it, buyer initial package. V1. I like V1, V2 in case I mess up, and then I know which one I'm actually in. This return folder, that's where the signed documents will appear once they're signed. And I'm going to put them in a different folder just so you can see what that looks like. Oops, under contract. And then we're going to click create. Once you click create, depending on how many forms you have, it does take a minute or two to load. And now I'm nervous because Gordon got an error earlier. There we go. If you click it multiple times, it will cause problems. So just kind of give it a second. All right, so this is the signature side. This is like the envelope in DocuSign. If you use DocuSign, I don't know that there's really a corollary in .loop. But as you notice, none of these fields are fillable. So when I click on it, nothing, I can't put the information in there if I forgot. If you forget a bunch of things, then you definitely want to go back to the paperwork side and fill it in there. Does it have, okay, it's got a markup. And if you notice this markup, I cannot change it. I can't remove it. It's in there, it's stuck. So if I wanted to change that again, I would have to go back to the paperwork side. Now, if the only thing I forgot to do was check this dual agency box, what I can do is there's this markup section, but you do want to make sure, nope, that's fine. You click, so the markup section, and you click checkbox, and you get this little pen icon, and you just check in there. And that's also how you would, let's say, it doesn't have my 7%, but text box.
Why don't you recommend doing too much in here?
It's you'll hate it. It is labor intensive. So instead of just clicking in here and typing 7, now I have to do 7. All of the field mappings are gone.
Okay.
The reason they do this is, let's say you can't edit the signing piece as much. Like once you send it, you really, the only thing you can change is an email address. So you can't correct envelopes with form fields and stuff like you could in DocuSign. So you end up having to do this multiple times. And it's just not as user friendly. So, but that is a way, like if you forgot one form instead and you've got to get this, you're running up 2 minutes before a deadline, you can put one checkbox in here and get it out to your client. All right. First thing you're going to do is go into signers. And if you notice, nothing came across from the room, from the transaction. I'm not sure why they made that choice, but it's real easy to fix. Add participants, add from transaction, and then you check everybody that needs to be on there. And if someone's missing, you can add participants, add new, and we'll say I'm buying this. 6 that group. Forget your and we're gonna say he's also a buyer. Okay, custom signatures. This is where you can update the name that appears on the signature line. So if your buyer or seller is operating on behalf of an estate, if they're operating on behalf of a company, you can set that up to show the name that should be there rather than relying on them to put Michael New CEO as CEO of big company Inc. or whatever. And it will automatically override and it just makes it easier on them. The other option you have is if you have a client that is not tech savvy and too many options are going to confuse them, you can change the signature option so that they don't have the draw or upload option. It just lets them choose a font. And that's those because some people will choose the draw, try to draw a signature, and then they can't get it done. And then they'll tell you the thing doesn't work. So if you've got, some technologically challenged clients, that may help you. Okay, we're gonna click save.
When you
So
add a new contact, should you add them to the transaction and save them to the contact list?
if they're going to be used more than this one signing, so if you're like adding a buyer, I would. If you're adding a lender that you want carbon copied on the contract or something like that, then you don't have to. You can.
Okay.
But if you don't add them to the transaction, then what happens is when you go to the next signing, they're not there and you have to re-add them again. All right, so we've got our people in there. The next section, docs, that has, again, all the documents that, and you can reorder them here as well. So we could move our affiliated business arrangement after our affiliate marketing. And it does change the location of the document in here. You can also click on it and change the document name if you needed to. Or map the signers there. You can also remove the document if you need to. All right. Tools. This is where you'll drag markup. Now, this is just for, like I said, you can't the problem with this set of tools is you can't pre-fill the information. So if I drag a text line for my buyer is putting in there whatever they want. Like we can't pre-fill it for them and have them see it. So if I click on this, the only thing I can do is add a tooltip that he'll see when he hovers over it. Um, so if this is really a thing that you want the buyer to make the choice and they know what they need to put in there, you can do it that way. I'm gonna delete that. But it's not a thing where you can put in the initial value. Now you can do that on the paperwork side, you just can't do it here. And the other trick, like if you forgot a field, is you assign it to yourself and fill it in, and then that only works if you sign before they do. So if you don't sign, they'll see a blank field. And if you send it to everybody at the same time, you'll see a blank field. Okay. Let's say we've got it, and to add initials, or let's say we need to add initials here because we got the markup. You click on it, and you can drag it to where you want, or you can just click on it and it will appear in the middle of the screen, and then you can drag it. Um, and then to choose, make sure when you're choosing your second person, like if I'm clicked on one of these and I hit this drop down, that will change who it's assigned to. You want to click out so that none of these are selected, and then click the drop down for buyer two. And then 2, 3, drag 'em. And let's say we've got all our signatures ready. One thing I want you to be aware of on this wire fraud document, because it's available to both buyers and sellers, Lonewolf mapped it to a different role of signer one, signer two. And unfortunately, a client can only have one role in a transaction or in a signing at a time. So I can't assign the same person to both buyer one and signer one. So you could put the contact in there twice, like create two contacts for them, and then but then they're going to get the document twice and they're going to be confused. So what we're going to do is we're just going to manually drag the signer. Again, I show you a way to do this automatically with the in the advanced class, but we're going to drag our signers here. And this is we have them working to remap it, but there's 1,000 market centers and it may take some time. So we're going to grab our signers, put them there. And one of the nice things with Lonewolf is it automatically gives you a date stamp whenever you get whenever you put a signature field on there. And if you click on it, you can just check the box for name block and it'll drop that right under the signature. And we're going to do that name block. Okay. And then we are ready to send this to our clients. So I'm going to click next. You have to set an expiration date. By default, it expires 30 days after whatever the current date is. That's just so somebody can't come back 2 years later and accept for whatever weird reason that they might want to do that. You can set reminders if they haven't signed it, and you can set it to every day, and then you can set the time that it goes out. You can customize the invites that go to everyone. So this is buyer one. This is the buyer's agent. This is As you'll see, the email is designed to not really prioritize that content, so don't worry too much about that. If you put a very long message in there, somebody might see it, but I'll show you what the email that the client gets, and you see it. All they're going to see is a big blue begin signing button, and they're going to click on that. Okay, so our signing has been sent. You can see the status, the name, and then if you hover over the little info circle, you can see who all it has been sent to. If you click on it, it will show you details. And this is where you can edit. The one thing you can edit in a signing after it's sent is the email addresses of the people in case you mistyped it or it bounces, Um, but that's the only thing you can change once it's sent. So I'm going to go to my email and fresh. Okay. And it's coming from Patty Dupree because I have to use the office account, but that would be your name. It would look like it's coming from you. However, the email address it comes from is secure@authentisign.com. So if your client can't find the email, if they're searching for your name, like make sure they're just searching for your name, not because Gmail, if you type in somebody's name and that person is in your contacts, it'll automatically search for their email. So a lot of times I've seen where they're saying they can't find the email. That's what's causing the problem. Um, and you can just tell them to search for from secure@authentisign.com, and then they usually will be able to find it. It has gone to spam for a couple of people, so be aware. This is where the message pops up. If you made a really long message, they might notice it. But what most people see is this big blue start signing button. So once they click on that, takes them to the signing process. They have to acknowledge,
Can
and
you
then
assign a signing order?
you can. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I will show you that. There's a checkbox. I skip that every time, but there's a box you can where you select the parties. There's a little toggle box at the top that says set signing order, and then it works just like DocuSign 1, 2, 3. You set 1, 2, 3. You can set multiple people on one, and they'll get it at the same time. So this is a text box that I asked for, 7, 3. And if you notice, it's just a text box. It's not the fancy date picker that you get normally. And then they can click next, and it'll take them to the next place they have to sign. Now, this is very, very important. If they do not click this complete signing button and they just close this pop-up window, because this is the first, when I got a signature, that's the first thing I did. Oh, pop-up window, I'm done. I closed it. I don't know why I have to click that button. And then I close this window. When I go back um, on the agent side, it will look like they have not signed that document. So you can see, and I can refresh. I can't resend it to them because it hasn't been long enough. But essentially, what they have to do to fix that is they have to go back into their email, find that original email, and click that start signing button again. And they have to start all over again. It doesn't save their progress. It doesn't uh, do any of that. So imagine a buyer doing that for seller's property disclosure, um, community association, anything where they have to pull up a button, they're going to be very, very frustrated. So make sure you do let them know to click this big blue complete signing button at the end. Like it's very, very important because otherwise they are going to be frustrated. So complete signing, they'll get a window that says, congratulations, you're all done, where they can print or download. I have no idea why you want to print a half signed document, but they could. And then you, as the agent, will be able to see that they have signed it. And you do get an email, I think it says like signing updated, and it says that they have signed the document. Okay, I know I covered a lot. Any questions at this point?
I do. When I was messing around with this, I added a fake buyer number 2 and I
Mhm.
sent it to the same email, but the email has only come through once. And so now it said that one buyer has signed. That's why I
Did
asked about the signing order as well, because I was like, okay,
okay.
maybe it put it in order, but I haven't gotten another email. Not that this is usually a problem, but sometimes, husband and wife share an email or something.
Right, right. Yeah. And I was under the assumption that you couldn't add a second client with the same email address. Um, I would try this, try clicking on the link in that original email and see if it takes you to the second one.
Okay.
Because that is not a thing I've tried, so I can't tell you for.
No, it just says signing process previously accepted.
Okay. So it does know there's different people. One thing you could do is go into it and then change that buyer's email. And if it's a Gmail, you can put like plus Jim plus Sue or whatever, because Gmail ignores the anything behind the plus. So it would go to them, but it would look like it's a new email. And that may get by it. Let's see. Other than
Okay.
that,
I'm in there. You said plus what?
so if Gmail ignores everything after the plus character, so I use mine. I have this Mike plus test at mnew.us, and my real email address is Mike at mnew.us. But I use this for testing purposes, so I can filter all those into one folder and never see them. So you could use that for if it, but it only works if it's a Gmail account.
Yeah, it is. So
Okay.
should I,
Yeah,
so
you
where
can
do I put the
try that.
plus?
So click on the name of the signing
Mm-hmm.
and then scroll down to where you get participants.
Mm-hmm.
And you should see on the buyer two, you want to click the pencil and then change the email address.
Okay, and where do I put the plus in? Like if that was the email address and it was a
Yeah.
Gmail, where would you put the plus?
So I would put the plus directly in front of the at symbol and then you can put, let's put Jim and then save and resend. And if you're dealing with a husband and wife that are using the same uh, Gmail, you can do that just so you know which one goes to which person.
Mm.
And then Mikhail, can you confirm you got that?
Yeah, your email.
The
Yeah,
second
I
one.
just got it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because these are Gmail, our email addresses are Gmail accounts, but under the hood. And then, okay, so let's say we could not figure that out. We never got the thing to the buyer. Lonewolf offers an option to force signing completion. And what this does is it removes anyone that hasn't signed the document and then completes the document so that you can use those signed signatures. You do that if one person signed and they refuse to sign again, or couldn't, somebody went on vacation, don't have access to a computer, and you just know you're not going to be able to get their signature again. You can force signing completion and then take the completed docs, throw them into a signing, and send them back to any remaining people that need the signature. A lot of times we've seen this with husband and wife say they both want to be on the contract. Then it turns out husband's not on the title, just the wife. So only the wife needs to sign. And she sign, so you have her sign it and then you force signing some completion instead of having to redo the whole thing all over again. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. One person has to have signed. You can't do this if nobody signed. So we're going to click for signing completion. It's the three dots to the right for signing completion. And then if you notice, the status will change to signed. You'll still see that the other two people did not sign the document. And if they try to sign it now, they won't be able to. I have tested that. And then if you refresh the page, it goes to complete and you can go into paperwork and you'll see all our documents are in there. And if I go to, let's pick exclusive buyer, you'll see that it does have the signature at the bottom, all the initials. Oh, Mikhail did sign too, or he signed part of it. But see, it was showing he hadn't signed it because he hadn't clicked that big blue complete signing button. All right, so paperwork. Okay, so let's jump back into command and let's say at this point, we've got our document signed and we're ready to turn it into compliance. This is not the command window I want to be in. I want to be in, not that one, this one. Okay, so because this window's been open the whole time, I'm gonna have to refresh it. Normally, if you loaded this, you'd be fine. So I'm gonna refresh the window. And then I'm going to show you. So we sent a buyer brokerage. It should go in the consultation phase. When I hit the drop down, nothing shows up. That's because Lonewolf has those folders that we put the documents in. It will only look in the folder that's specified. And right now in the consultation folder, all that's in there are templates, not the signed documents. So it's looking for signed documents in the folder. So if you can't find it, you just go to the next folder. And then I drop down and I see all of my buyer brokerage. So the folders do matter. And just be careful uh, where you put them and that you know which one so that you don't have to keep trying and to find things. But that's how easy it is to pull the stuff in. You just make sure you're in the right folder and then you hit the drop down and it will pull in the affiliated business arrangement.
Under contracts
Hmm?
before, because if you send the documents to, say So you send the documents to, let's say, the selling broker or the selling agent,
Mhm.
and you want to put it in opportunities. At that time, it's not under contract yet until it comes back to you, right? So,
That's
so
technically correct, yes.
okay. So let's say I send it to my buyer.
Mhm.
My buyer signs the documents, I get it, then I send it to
Mhm.
the seller.
Correct.
But before they accept the offer,
Mhm.
and I want to put it in opportunities. At this point, it's not under contract yet, but my buyer has signed it. So
You could put it so there's only really one place for a purchase and sale. You could put the initial offer there. It's going to confuse um the compliance department because they're going to tell you that it's not executed. Now you know it's not executed,
Right.
but if you wanted them to look at it beforehand, typically most agents don't do that. They send us a bound contract and we're reviewing it after the fact, not before the fact. However, like you could do that, just know that compliance is going to tell you the first thing they're going to tell you is the seller hasn't signed it and
Right.
it's not executed. You could always let them know, hey, I'm sending you a contract. Can you take a look at it before I send it out?
Okay.
Um, oh, it's not typical, which is why I would tell you that people are going to
So the one I sent on Friday, I don't have to put in opportunities.
not unless you're worried about it. You can always send it like if there's something that's causing you concern, yeah, send it to compliance and let them look it over. If it's a standard contract and then once it goes binding, that's when you'll upload everything. Yep. Yasmin?
Question. So let's just like hypothetical, this was an offer that I just did. Now I need to send it to the agent in one PDF. How do I just selected them and
Mhm.
hit PDF and it downloaded in a zip file all
Right.
separately.
I'll show you if you click download and let me move these because these are going to be in the way. Um, uh, if make sure you put everything in the order that you want it to appear vertically. So,
Okay.
and if it's across different folders, you really want it to be in the same folder. Um, let's pretend for the sake of time that I had done that.
Yeah, I'm like pretending my like BBA is an offer and then the lead
Yeah.
based
So
is the just an exhibit.
what you'll do is you check the documents you want in the order that you want, and then click this print button. And what that does is it generates a single PDF in the order that they're
Ah.
in the thing. And then if you're in Chrome, at least there's a download button up here. Um, uh, you click the download button, that will download your PDF. If you're in a different browser, it'll work slightly differently. It may just automatically download the thing. And then let's say other package, and then you can send that to 250 fake. So that's how you get the single PDF to send to the seller.
Okay. Oh, pop-up blocker. There you go. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Got it. Okay. I've taught this class so many times. That used to be one of the things that I always pointed out because it's nice. And I'm just starting to forget things. Okay. So we brought the documents back into command, and that's it. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Hi,
Mhm. Hey,
it's
Anita.
Anita. So I logged in like super late. I'm
Mhm.
not expecting you to walk me through everything, obviously, but I'm still having trouble accessing the forms. And I
Sure.
did connect my ID on RDS ID and all that, so I don't know what's going on.
So the GAR changed something on their authentication process, and there's only one place that it actually works. And I'll run you through it real quick. Let me get into Lonewolf.
Okay.
So you want to be in this paperwork section, and you want to have at least one document that you can open.
Okay, let me go do that right now.
Mhm.
Okay, I have the exclusive seller brokerage engagement.
Okay. Just click on that document, and then once it opens, there will be a add paperwork button on the left-hand side.
I see it.
Okay, click that one.
Mhm.
And then you're gonna, at the bottom of that pop-up window, click the unlock more libraries. And then the next window that pops up, you're gonna click GAR at the bottom of that.
There's no GAR. So it has all libraries, Georgia Real Estate Commission, Greater Alabama MLS.
Yeah, at the bottom of that window, click the unlock more libraries link.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Like
Okay,
everybody, this is, yeah. And then you'll click GAR on that.
I see. RDS ID, okay. All right. Hopefully I can handle it, but let's see.
Yep. And then that should get you in. Okay. All right. I'm gonna jump over to the DocuSign download class. It is a separate DocuSign link. Or sorry, it's a separate Zoom link. And if anybody has any
Thank you.
additional questions, you can join me there, and then I'll hang out after I run through that. But thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Absolutely.